Hey guys, this is going to be the video walkthrough for the pixels and the custom audiences since it seems to be one of the more prominent questions happening right now. So I'm in the business.facebook.com, which is the business manager back here in Facebook, and then I'm going to head over to my ads manager because even if you went into the Power Editor right now, it's just going to push you back into the ads manager itself. And then under tools, we're going to go into pixels. And then of course we have our two options here, our custom audience pixels and our conversion tracking pixels. I also have my back office open over here, and we're going to head over into marketing and under my funnel settings, okay? So again, I want to make the distinction that custom audience pixels, these are your retargeting pixels. These are audiences that you're custom building that you can then go and market to when you set up your ads. I'll show you that towards the end of this training. And then the conversion tracking pixels, of course, will track the conversions. So let's just get started with this one. I think I'm actually in the wrong account, to be honest, but I think it's okay. We'll just do it over here anyway. If you guys remember, I started a new account, so it looks like this is my DIY2. So if you heard me pause there for a second, it's because I was wondering why there's no custom audiences or conversion pixels, because I know that they're here. But this is cool because we can start it from scratch. So I'll do create a pixel. Just do the agreement, it's fine. And we'll call this one the leads pixel. So I'll do SFM leads for this one. And then I want to remind you that whatever it is that you're trying to track the conversion of, the pixel code has to be placed after the action is taken. So you don't want to put this on your landing page because the pixel will fire every time somebody comes to the landing page. So in order to track people who've entered their email address, that means that they've entered their email address and now they go to the thank you page. And if they're seeing the thank you page, it means they've opted in. So that's where you want the pixel. You want it after the action has been taken. That's critical, okay? So again, it's one of those things that's really funny. It's like complicated when you first think about it, but it's actually quite a simple concept. Again, after the action is taken. So in my funnel settings, you literally have these boxes, and that's the way a funnel works, right? You have your landing page, you have your thank you page, you have your order page or the sales page, and then whatever that is. I've actually never even used this page, so I think this is just for upgrades for DA products. But honestly, it doesn't matter because that's not going to help you optimize anyway. You could track it if you want to. So now we have our pixel over here, right, for our tracking code. So I'm copying it, and then I'm going to bring it into the thank you page, right? Because again, I don't want to track landing page hits. I want to track thank you page hits. We even wrote over here track leads, so you know what you're doing, right? That means you're tracking leads. So you can see I have a bunch of codes over here. This is for a whole bunch of different networks that we've used over the years. And then all I would do is just paste it, put that code in there, and then come back here, create my second code, which is for checkouts. Where am I? For some reason I don't see a button to create another one. Should be one. Let's just do a refresh over here. All right, there we go. Button's back. Create another pixel. This one's going to be, you could use checkouts. This doesn't really matter if registrations to you makes more sense for a sale. It doesn't matter. This will matter when we start looking at reports because it's going to put it under these categories. So whatever one works for you best when you think about sales. For me, it's checkouts because when you check out, you buy something. So I'm going to do SFM applications. For this one, again, create the pixel, grab my code, copy and paste that, and now I'm going to bring this into the next box, which is the application order receipt page. So again, you wouldn't want this on your checkout page because then every person that went to the checkout page, you would think that you got an application sale through your tracking system. You want it after they've completed checkout, which is the receipt page, right? So again, that's why it says application order receipt page. And then it says track application orders. So again, they've made this as simple as they can. You plug that in there, and then you click save changes. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I don't want these pixels in there. But you would then save changes. Now you can track both leads and checkouts when you create your ads. Just make sure that when you're in Power Editor and you're setting up your ad sets, that where it asks you for pixels, you then assign both of those pixels to that ad set, okay? And again, you only have to do that once, and then you can duplicate your ad sets, of course, like I showed you, and then those pixels would apply into all your ad sets, okay? Next thing is, let's do the custom audience pixel, because I think this is where a lot of the confusion is happening. This is completely, again, distinct from a conversion pixel. So this one, you could just call it like your general SFM list, whatever helps you. And just know that with conversion pixels, every conversion pixel has a unique ID tag, meaning like an account number or whatever, social security number, whatever works for you. It has its own unique tag, so you can use those in different places. But when it comes to custom audience pixels, then it's a universal number, which means that you're gonna have to apply some kind of like and or thinking here. You'll see what I mean in just a second. You know what? I think recently they've actually changed the functionality of this thing, so maybe they're not doing the and or stuff anymore, which would actually simplify things. To be perfectly honest, let's see just what it says down here. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit above my pay grade, so we're gonna leave that alone. All right, but just to keep this nice and simple, you have your code, okay? You're gonna copy it. We'll hit done on this thing. I'm gonna come back and explore this in just a minute though. Okay. And then it's really up to you how you want to use this code, guys. You can use it to literally build a list of every single person that hits your website. Why would you want to do that? Well, because if you're using paid marketing, you're the one choosing where that traffic is coming from. So if you're using Tony Robbins or Robert Kiyosaki, and those are the type of people that are hitting your page, again, you've chosen that traffic to go over there, so you kind of have an idea of who you'd be retargeting anyway. It also means that any organic traffic would also go into the custom audience as well. So it's really up to you how you want to use it. You can use it just for people who've opted into the list and that you want to continue the conversation. And if that's the case, then it would be here, right? Because this is people who have opted in, which means that custom audience would only be built for people who've already opted in. But what we recommend is that you actually put it at the highest level, which is at your landing pages. Now, you don't want to retarget necessarily people who've hit your landing pages with more of the same landing pages, because if they've seen your landing page and they haven't opted in, showing them the same landing page is probably not going to work. Or it may work in creating leads, but that person isn't a high value interest to you. So you kind of have to be a little bit more clever with these and how you want to use them. How we use it is that we put it at the top level of our website. So if we have like satoriprime.com, we have a pixel code in there for custom audiences that just captures everybody that hits our page. So that's organic traffic, search traffic, paid traffic, it doesn't matter. And then what we do is we create ads that we add the custom audience into it, but we also add an interest group, so it only gets people who have both of those criterias. And that way we're kind of cherry picking the people who've hit our website. So when it comes to SFM landing pages, that would be the top level for you guys here. So that's where I would add the pixel code. When it comes to your websites and stuff, right? If you guys remember, we installed that plugin. It's the remarketing and conversion plugin. We went over that, I think, in the first lesson. So if you didn't get it yet, you can go get it. It's called remarketing and conversion plugin. Sorry, I'm downloading and uploading big files right now, and it's taking up all my bandwidth. I should have thought of that before I started this video. And then once you install it, under settings, you'll have this thing called Remarketing Code. Okay, and whatever you put in here, this will go across the entire website, meaning it'll be on every single page on your website. So you see over here, we have this Facebook pixel ID. That's our universal custom audience code that we use for our website. And then we go and create ads that cherry picks them. So let's just go back real quick, because they have changed how these work recently. And I just haven't set up a pixel code in a bit. So you should be able to, okay, so this is where your data would show up, it looks like. I just want to see, you used to be able to give rules to the pixel. It doesn't look like that's the case anymore. So let me see if I create a second pixel. What I'm looking for right now is to see if previously, like I said, the ID number would be the same. I'm going to create a different pixel if it lets me, or a different audience, I should say. And I'm going to see if it gives it a different number. No, okay. All right, so here, this is perfect. Okay, so once I've created my code, which you guys just saw me do, I went now and hit create audience. So I guess they've now made it a little distinct. And now I have these if and functions, okay? So what I can do is I could just grab everybody. This is anybody who visits your website, okay? So that means across the entire thing, if somebody clicks on my website, I want to grab them. Or you could do people who visit specific web pages. So let's say that you put the pixel code at storyprime.com, but I don't want to capture people who've hit my homepage. I only want to capture people who've hit specific landing pages. So for instance, if I have a landing page that's called home business, I could say I want to only capture leads from home business. Okay. And then I could add more. So then I could only want to capture leads from people who are on this page. Right? And I can just build a list of all these. So if I have like 10 pages on my website and these are the only pages that I want, that when someone hits or I send paid traffic to, that it will build them into this custom audience list, I can do that too. So we kind of recommend that you do it both ways, that you create a general list, so you capture everybody and then you just cherry pick them based on interest groups. But if you have like a very specific idea in mind in terms of a certain campaign that you want to run, and you only want certain people that have hit certain page, you can go and create additional audiences and then give them these if and functions, okay? So let's say I wanted those two. I could also say I only want to target people who've hit that list in the last 30 days or up to 180 days. And I could call this audience, let's say, paid landing page audience or something like that. Whatever works for you, right? And we'll create that audience. And then, again, I'm just trying to see where everything is because they've moved so much stuff around. Yeah, I just want to show you some of the other functions you have here, okay? So you could do like people who visit specific web pages, people visiting specific web pages but not others. So you could say they visit this site but not this site. People who visited in a certain amount of time. Yeah, so again, like, people who visited in the last 180 days but haven't been back in the last 30 days. So there's all this different criteria. There's also custom combinations you can do. So you can get extremely, extremely granular with this and what you do and do not want to retarget. But again, I think the simplest way for you guys to do it is just to grab everybody, and then whenever you need to, use that custom audience, and then cherry pick it with interest groups, okay? So here it looks like it's putting the custom audiences down here, the additional ones. And I would imagine if you click on it, it'll probably give you data specific to that custom audience. They have changed this a little bit. Looks like they've added a few extra steps here. And then you'll see, like how big it is and etc. And also you can build lookalike audiences off of your custom audiences as well, okay? So again, add that pixel code to the top level. And then if we go create an ad, so I'll just show this to you in the regular ads manager, but you could do it just as simply in the power editor. So I'll just send people to my website. Continue. I'm going to skip over most of the steps. I'm just going to go down to the interest groups. So again, you now have your interests, right? So for instance, I have my custom audience, my general list, so I can type that in there. Oh no, I'm sorry, my paid landing page audience, which is the one we just created right now. So it looks like if I wanted the general one, I would have to create a general list as well. I hope that makes sense. So I'd have to create a general list and then any of the other criteria. So it's not just adding the pixel, you have to add the audiences underneath the criteria. Also, if you don't have one yet, you can create it from here as well. and then I would add an interest group. So let's say, like, you know, those are people who've hit those landing pages and like Tony Robbins on Facebook, right? And then I would cherry pick those people out of that group. So again, I just want to make sure I'm being clear with what happened here. So the only audiences that are going to show up are after you install the pixel on your site, and then you create those additional audiences underneath. That's where the data is going to come from. So just make sure that you do not skip that step. Otherwise, you're not going to see audiences in there. So one more time, let's go back in there. Yeah, and I think this will actually probably be the easier way to do it, because we were under pixels before, but there's also this audience thing over here. So you could just create, this is how I used to do it back in the day, or back in the day, like it was forever ago. And then I think this just makes it a little bit clearer. You can upload your list, your website traffic, so just pick that one. Again, you know, anyone who visits my site, or add criteria to it. So in this case, let's just do like the general list, right? So anybody who visited the list in the last 180 days, if it helps you, add a description, create that audience. And then under the general list, if you come here, you can view your pixel. Grab it out of there, copy and paste it, and then move it in there. But you could see again, see like I was talking about the ID code. So this is my ID, 7011, right? So they're all going to have that ID code. They're not going to be different. So you have to make sure that you give them either the criteria. So this is the other one, and you'll see the same ID code, right? 7011 at the end. So that means that the way it's determining whether or not, you know, it wants to add to the audience is based on this criteria that you guys are going to add when you're creating your custom audiences in here, okay? Otherwise, if you don't give a criteria, it's just going to capture everybody. So again, you can make different lists for different scenarios. You can make ones for your leads. You can make ones for your apps. You can make one for whatever you want. And obviously, based on what criteria you've set for your custom audience, you could have a different conversation with those people. And then finally, in order to grow those lists, it's just another way for you guys to test, is once you have a sizable list over here, and I think it's about 1,000 people, you could come in here and actually create lookalike audiences based off of these different things. So you can create them off your conversion pixels. So these are literally like, I want to find more people on Facebook that are related or look like people who have already opted into my list, or people who've already taken applications, or people who are on my general custom audience list, right? And that way Facebook will actually go out there and create the connections for you and determine which are the best people to show those ads to with these lookalike lists. So if we want to create our SFM leads, it's not going to be big enough now, obviously. You can only do one country at a time. And then you can see you could pick based on closest relationship or just most in size. So if you want a smaller audience, which is what we recommend, you go down there, you hit create audience. Again, this is going to be too small, but then Facebook will go out there and create a list for you, and it'll be available usually within about an hour of creating it, and then you'll have an additional list, and that's just another interest group that you can then go test and see if it's converting well for you. We've had some pretty good success with that in the past as well. Okay, so I hope that kind of clears things up for you guys. If it's still not clear, what I'd recommend is 2 trainings. Number 1 is just go through the sales funnel training in SFM back office that we do for Marketing 101, and then go through the tracking training that we do for Marketing 101 if you really don't understand why the pixels are going where they're going. But I want to reiterate over and over again that it's always after the action has been taken on page. Whatever page comes next, that's where you want the pixel to fire. Otherwise, you're going to get the wrong data, okay? So always after the action has been taken is where the pixel is going to be. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any additional questions, and we'll try to give you as much clarity as you possibly can get. Thanks.